sharing inspiring stories today, and this dentist in Missouri will have you smiling.
I want to know when your tongue is heavy.
Her soothing instructions are comforting.
I'm just going to check this tooth and loosen up a little bit.
Patients here are in the hands of a pro. Dr. Ann Lambert-Johnson is Kansas City's first African-American female dentist for 47 years and counting.
I started dental school and never looked back.
Dr. Johnson attended dental school at Howard University and historically black Research University in Washington, D.C. That's where she met civil rights heavyweights like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the 60s during the civil rights movement.
Andrew Young and all the people, Shirley Chisholm and all these people that you read about, you actually got to see and talk to and have conversations with.
Conversations that years later gave her the courage to face racial roadblocks when she and her husband Nelson moved to Kansas City in 1974. She practiced with another dentist for a little more than 2 years.
The problem was when I decided that it was time for me to get my own practice.
She wanted to buy this building and she needed a loan.
And I went to the bank, won't call the name of the bank, but the guy looked at me like I was crazy. He'd never heard of a thing as a black female woman dentist. And he said he'd never heard of that. He didn't think that was, I showed him my credentials and stuff and convinced him that this was true. So I told him I wanted to borrow some money, and he said he just couldn't loan me any money.
The practicing licensed dentist left the bank hurt and angry. As fate would have it, of all places, she went to the grocery store that day.
And I ran into an ex-football player for the Kansas City Chiefs, Curtis McClinton. And he was with the Black Economic Union. So I told him what had happened, and he said, well, that's a shame that happened to you, but we'll see that you get a loan, and we'll see that you get the money to get your building.
With a recommendation from the Black Economic Union, the Bank of America loaned the money to Ann. And in 1978, she bought this building near Gregory and Cleveland and has been practicing here for almost half a century. Dr. Johnson is focused on the future, caring for her patients and mentoring African-American girls, encouraging them to consider becoming a dentist.
I've had 4 or 5 women who are now practicing that even came and practiced with me for a little time.
Shantae Reed is a first-year dental student at UMKC, and Dr. Johnson is her mentor and hero.
She's one of the main people who have been able to give me the exposure to a practitioner that actually dedicates, almost all of their time practicing to helping the underserved community, which is what I aspire to do.
Reed is the next generation of African-American dentists continuing the life's work of pioneers like Dr. Ann Lambert-Johnson, still blazing the trail so African-Americans will have an easier path to personal and professional success.
We've still got to meet a very, very rich dog.
Oh, yes, he loves the dog.
He's the mutt worth millions. It's good to know.